If I was out here advocating that people ought not to be human trafficking, and you said, well, it's just their choice and it's not affecting me, that's kind of what's going on here. It's analogous to abortion. I'm saying human beings are being killed, but they shouldn't be. And you're saying, well, at the end of the day, it doesn't affect me. What's up?
How we doing? What's this? I feel like I'm in an interview right now.
No interview. How old are you first?
23.
20. Hey, me too. 23.
Really? You
Yes,
fucking
sir.
aging terribly compared to me. I don't mean that in a bad way, but like you look way older than I do. You're also way bigger and heavier and stronger than I am, so
No, 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 no. I am bald though.
you are. I'm not.
Bald by, um, not by
Choice?
choice,
Ah, fuck. I'm
and
gonna say
and then, well, not not by choice, but then I chose to stay bald.
all right. Well,
Anyways,
yeah,
um, I'm here to talk about and debate abortion. Are you
yeah.
for abortion or against it?
I honestly think, um, like, in what terms? Like, are you for it in some terms and not in others? Or are you just not for it
No,
at all?
I'm not for it at all. I don't. So you want here? I'll go ahead and give you the argument. So I think abortion is murder. All right,
Of
murder is
course. Yep.
obviously just the unjust killing of another human being, and I don't think there's any justification for abortion. I think there's reasons for abortion, but I don't think there's any justifications for them.
I would argue similar to the same as that, but I also think that it should be anybody's choice. Like if they take on a pregnancy when they hypothetically didn't plan on it, they should have the right to terminate it.
I didn't plan on it. What do you mean?
Like if two people are hypothetically in a relationship and they're not ready for a kid and they're trying to plan it perfectly, which is crazy and like
They're
in like
having sex, but they don't want to have kids right now.
yeah, I mean
Okay, so here's the problem with that is from the moment of conception that forms a brand new human life, right? And I would argue for one, you shouldn't be having sex if you're not ready to handle the responsibilities of your orgasm
yes.
because it's a brand new human life at stake. And for two, we all know how kids are made. So
Yeah.
even though you're taking precautions, that's like me saying, that's like me playing football outside, right? And let's
Okay.
say I tape up a window, I tape up the football, and I accidentally break the window. Well, I say, well, I didn't mean to break the window. I took all these precautions, but you
Okay.
still broke the window.
So
So
I do have a question whenever
yeah,
you're done.
go ahead. I think that's it. I think I made my point there.
Okay, so women have a certain amount of eggs, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
And if they don't use the egg by the end of the term, they
Pass
it,
them on. Yeah.
they excrete it technically.
Yes.
Yes. Is that not the same thing? Because that egg was a potential human, and the body discarded it because it wasn't ready to be like it was there to be
Mhm.
fertilized,
Yeah.
and then it wasn't. Is that
I
not very similar?
I
In
I understand the argument. No. You know why?
why?
Because when egg and sperm meet, when they
Yes.
come together, so you get the DNA from your mother, your father,
Yes.
that
The two
all
gametes they meet and they fertilize.
they
Yes.
fuse, and that's what creates a brand new human being. And from the moment of
Okay.
conception, we're able to determine, the genes in the human. They're able to determine things like eyesight, height from a very, very early stage, just from conception.
Well, of
So
course.
so like egg and sperm are like potential to human life, but a human being is finally formed once the egg and the sperm meet, which is
Yeah.
conception.
And you're
So
not going to know that in the first 3 days of having sex. You know what I mean? Like it takes time, and then they figure it out that the person is pregnant.
correct, yeah.
But what is the difference? Because the egg is one, and the sperm fertilizes it, and when fertilization creates growth.
hmm Fertilization is, the
Yeah. If
creation
you
of
have a
a.
if you create a crop and you don't fertilize it, it's not going to live. You know what I mean? Like it has to have the sustenance that's there for it to grow. And in this case of sex and making babies, it's a sperm and an egg.
Correct,
So
yeah.
how is it different to terminate it after it's been fertilized? Like
because it's
If
a
you ha-
because it's a brand new human with its own unique human DNA.
but that human was always there in the egg form. Like the egg is the person, and the male fertilizes the egg for it to be to to grow. You know what I mean? It the female body will discard it if it's not fertilized. So what happens to that potential life?
Well, that's potential of life. So that's a potential to human life. Whereas when the egg and the sperm meet, that actually forms human life. So you could do, like a experiments, whatever you
But
say,
there's no guarantee that it's going to be born. It's still the
like
potential.
in like when it's already conceptualized, like
Yeah,
at conception.
you can still have a miscarriage.
Yeah, that doesn't mean it's not a human life, though. That's
But
well, what do
why?
you listen. So from the moment of conception, that's no longer a potential for human life. It is just a brand new human life. Does that make sense?
I understand what you're saying. Like, I'm not going to try to
Well,
push that aside. Like,
do you know why though? Well, I'm not a scientist, but according to the Illinois Family Institute, 96% of scientists agree that life begins from the moment of conception.
as soon as the egg is fertilized.
Yeah, once the egg is fertilized, that's a brand new human life. Yep.
Okay.
And it's got, the DNA of human, Homo sapien.
But is that not? Is that at the earliest stages of just a bunch of cells that they can claim as human life?
Well, it's not
Like
claimed that it's
it
human
hasn't
life.
grown. It hasn't like no organs have been produced. It's not a physical being yet. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it is
It's
physical. It's just it's physical. It's just really small. But I don't think we should value humans based off of where they at or how small they are. I think we should value humans because we're all humans. And I can make an argument regardless of religion. I'm religious. I think we're all formed in the image of God. But I can
okay.
just make the argument without religious elements
Yes.
because, like I said, from the moment of conception, that's a brand new human life, and I think it's worthy of protecting.
Okay.
Yep.
Um, I mean, I'm in this like weird position where it's like, in
Well,
my case as a man, if I hypothetically was with a girl and we got pregnant together, and I would like for my voice to be heard in the situation, like if she was going to have an abortion, I would like to maybe be like, well, can we talk about it? Like, it's my baby too. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I don't know if that's weird or not, but like I would kind
No,
of
I
throw that
understand that. Yeah.
into the air. But I don't also think it's wrong for people that if they do want to have an abortion, like they should just be allowed to have it. You know what I mean?
Okay. So you think they should be allowed to have it. So I'll just ask simply, what justification is there to allow women to get to choose to terminate that human life? Because we can both agree that it's a human life from conception, right? Do we agree to
Yes.
that?
Yeah, I
Okay.
can agree with that. If that's what science says, I can agree with that.
That
Yes.
that is what science says. I can send you the
I believe you. No, I
okay,
trust you.
okay,
You don't have to send me anything.
I appreciate it. So let's go from there.
Yep.
Why is it justifiable for women to be able to choose to terminate human life?
Simply just on the basis of their choice.
That doesn't really
Like,
tell me why they ought to be able to do that though.
uh, being pregnant isn't just as simple as, oh, I'm gonna have a baby in 9 months. Like it, there's effects that will determine the next 9 to 15 months of your life.
Well,
Like,
yeah, pregnancy is not like an easy
it's not
thing.
just a simple thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. It's not an easy thing, but why is that justification to kill human life just because something's not going to be easy?
Well, I would say if someone has a career that they potentially want to take, or if they're sexually assaulted, or
Well,
if it's gonna,
let's go through one point at a time.
yes,
So a career,
like so if hypothetically someone's in college and they're potentially, oh, I don't know what would take a while, like they're doing a doctor's degree or something like that, or like they're doing something That's going to take some time, and if you have a child in 9 months' time, it's
Mhm.
going to it has a knock-on effect. You know what I mean? It's going to affect everything in the next 9 to 15 months of your life.
Okay.
I
I
feel like there should be a right there to be like,
uh,
I can't do this right now for my own personal sake and my own
mm.
personal goals, and I should be allowed to do what I want in that situation.
Okay, so let's I'm assuming in this hypothetical, let's say it's consensual sex, right? Let's just grant that.
Yeah,
You
I
already
don't think.
heard what I said about consensual sex, but we'll just grant it. Um so in that situation about a career, is there any cutoff from when she should have the abortion, or like all 9 months, day before it's born?
No, I do think there's a cutoff. I think it's. I feel like the earlier you catch it, whichever like the time you can catch a pregnancy is, I feel like that's the most
Well,
reasonable.
well,
But I
sir,
don't think it's
sir,
normal, and I don't think it's even a thing that people terminate a pregnancy between 7 and 9 months. I don't think that ever happens. You know
it
what I mean?
it does happen. It's not the
But
majority. I'll grant you
that
it's
has
not the
to be
majority.
rare.
It,
That
it
has to
is
be.
rare, but when you say that she's justified to do it because of a career, you're contradicting yourself when you say there should be a cutoff point. Because regardless of the cutoff point, if she still wants to get that abortion because of her career, you just said that it's justifiable because of that career.
I mean,
So either you value her career or you value something else.
well, I value whatever she wants to do with herself. You know what I
So
mean?
you're okay with her terminating it a day before birth then?
That doesn't happen.
It does happen.
You know,
It's it's not the
that
majority. Do
it
you
has to be a very minuscule amount of cases where they're like, you're due in like a week, and they're like, actually, no, pull this thing out of me. I
well
don't want to have
well
a baby.
well yes, that's true. It's not the majority, but we're just using your logic and taking it to its conclusion. That's all we're doing. And have you ever heard of a partial birth abortion?
What is that?
So it's when the baby head pops out of the vagina and then they'll deliver fetus vaginal, or they'll deliver the fetus vaginally, so outside of the mother's vagina, just the head sticking out. And then they'll drain the fetal skull and, yeah, kill it just like that. Like while its head is sticking out of the vagina.
So it's like,
So it's partially born. It's called a partial birth abortion.
when does that happen?
It's very rare. Very rare.
I've never actually heard of that. So
Yeah. Uh I could probably find how often it happens. I'm not gonna do it right now because
yeah, no, of course.
it's not really irrelevant. Like I said, we're just kind of taking your logic to its
Yeah,
conclusion, right? So
I do ultimately feel like it should be any person's choice because I feel like an unwanted baby is just not going to live a good life.
but
Eventually, it will happen. Like you hear stories of it all the time. Like people like, I never wanted this baby, and then become fucking rich and famous and whatever. Like
but
there's all these different hypotheticals, but I
yeah.
feel like ultimately it should be the choice of whoever's having a kid.
So that choice, though, do you think they should be allowed to do it a day before birth? Then
Well, going with the logic that I'm speaking of, yeah, I feel like
okay,
ultimately, my personal opinion, I feel like that doesn't happen, and I would say it's wrong, but I feel like anyone should just be able to do what they want to do. You know what I mean?
so even a day before birth.
With what I've said,
Okay.
it all goes into one timeline. Yeah, like if someone wants to decide they don't want to have a kid,
Mhm.
what am I going to do? Like it's not my problem, but I feel like people should have whatever they want.
So what about a partial birth abortion? What if a woman chooses to want to do that? Do you think she's morally justified to do that?
A partial, like what you said, with it,
Yeah, where the head sticking out of the vagina and then they terminate it that way.
that sounds extreme, and that's something I've never heard of, and
Hmm.
that sounds
You can look it up right now. Look up a partial birth abortion.
no, I know what you're saying.
Well, like I
Um,
said, we're just taking your logic and see where
yeah,
it concludes,
yes.
and
Um,
just going off of your logic. Does it sound like it's logically sound that we should be able to terminate babies while their head is sticking out of their mother's vagina? I mean, just be real with me. Does that sound
that
logically like that's okay?
Though being honest, I've never heard of it before up until now, and it made me
Mhm.
feel very uncomfortable just thinking about that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say no.
Even even a day before birth, what is different between that baby a day before birth versus 24 hours later? Can you name any symmetry breaker between those two babies or fetuses?
One's inside, one's out.
That's it. That's literally it. Just location. There's nothing biologically different. There's nothing developmentally different. They're the same at that point. Just 24 hours apart. So why is one justifiable to kill versus the other gets to live? You know, like these are serious questions that people have to, you know, deal with.
I've always had this question: if it was really considered murder, why are mothers not held at murder charges for murdering?
Well,
Because
that's just a plea to legality, though. So that's what the law says, but we're talking about what the law ought to be. We're talking about what is morally right versus wrong. So just
yeah,
because the law says it doesn't mean that it's, you know, okay.
yeah. Um, I do also feel like consciousness comes into play and like sentimental, like that's something I would say because like as a person myself, if I was hypothetically aborted
Mm.
at hypothetically one day before I was supposed to be born, would I know what was going on? Probably not.
So so what if a baby is born with a birth asphyxia? Birth asphyxia is basically when a baby gets delivered and they're not getting enough oxygen, so they're
Yeah.
unconscious. Should we be able to kill them since they're unconscious?
Well, how do you bring them to consciousness?
Well, they're not getting enough air, so you have to, you know, um,
CPR kind of thing.
CPR type of thing. But they're unconscious, so are we morally justified to kill them? Because if
Uh,
you're saying that we can kill them because they're unconscious or because of consciousness, then that would just apply to them outside of the womb.
yeah, and that applies to people that are brain dead and shit like that. I know what you're saying.
We could talk about brain dead people, but there's a difference between brain dead people and then fetuses who are, you know, on the path to, you know, developing how they should
Yeah,
be. Whereas brain people, they're done, right? They're not going to get better. Whereas if you let the fetus grow and develop where it should be, how it should be, they are likely to grow and develop and, you know,
yeah.
develop consciousness in this thing.
I don't know what my standpoint is, but I'm very much in the middle. Like, I
Mhm.
understand the point where it's every like they should live and all that, but I also just feel like people should have a choice with what they do. Like, because it won't affect you. I don't understand why you should like. I don't know what state you're from. I'm gonna pretend it's North Dakota. If someone in California has an
Oh, well,
abortion,
you said state. I was thinking you said country. That was my bad. That was
no, I know you're in America. Me too, but like,
terrible. Terrible of me to think that. That
you
was
know what I
bad.
mean? It's like it doesn't affect anyone apart from like the. I always say potential life because
Can
it's
I ask you something really
yes.
important though?
Go ahead.
How do you like what do you think if everyone had that view when we had slavery around? It doesn't really affect me. When
Like
slavery was legal in this country and we had people fighting for it, what do you think people what do you think it would have played out if everyone had your view and said, "Well, it doesn't really affect me, so I don't really care to talk about it or worry about it."
I also personally believe like the whole slavery thing was a very gray area and a lot of lies went on around about it. I don't think they were treated as bad as they were, but the whole idea of it is bad. I don't think having
Right.
any
Yeah.
like I think I think a lot of the history that the world has is a lot. It's all fucked up and it's all like written in a certain way and all of that.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
is that weird? I don't know if you like
No,
think I'm.
that's not weird, but um
I think a lot of it is like sketched in a specific way.
yeah, I'm still a little confused though because at the end of this, you still
Yeah,
said that it should be the woman's choice. So I'll ask you one more time. If it's the woman's choice, should be able to kill her baby 24 hours before birth.
I would say there's a cutoff, and I don't know when that cutoff would be. I think maybe in the third trimester, there
Okay.
might like the final trimester of like the baby being born. I think there should be a point where they can terminate the pregnancy. And
Why?
I think for I feel like there's no understanding why a woman or a family would decide to not have a baby. I
You
think it's deeper than just two people saying like, oh, they're murdering a child, rather than like the whole psychological aspect of the mother or the current circumstances of their life. Like I don't think that is any of our business, but I think that like
well,
if
we
they're like,
could we could say the same thing about slavery though. It was none of our business. You don't think people should have spoke out against slavery though?
um, I feel like they did though, didn't they?
They did, but you're advocating that it doesn't affect you and it's not a big deal. They should have their choice.
I feel like there's worse things going on the planet than a family or a mother or whoever it is getting an abortion. I feel like that's the
Do you
least
know
of
how
it.
many babies are aborted a year in America alone?
I would say close to 100,000,
1.1 million.
1.1 million. So it's off by a million. And how many people are in the US? 500 million?
Now that I don't know.
750 million? Something like that?
How many people in the US?
Thank you.
342 million.
342 million. So out of
So,
so 1 in 300 people, which is probably closer to, when you realistically think about it, there's
mm,
probably a 1.25 ratio, one man to 2.5 women in the US.
so here's why I think it's the biggest issue we should be talking about. 1.1 million babies are aborted every year.
Yep.
70 million are aborted like worldwide.
Okay.
70 million lives, unique human beings, right? And it's legal. That's the thing. This is legal. We could talk about rape, we could talk about murder, but those are illegal. This is the legalized murder, an intent to murder the most innocent of our species, which are fetuses inside of the womb, which should be the safest place for a baby to be, but it's
Yeah.
not.
I mean, I understand. Like, does it hurt you that people are getting abortions? Like, does it physically, like, not meant? Does it mentally hurt you? Does it? Do you
Well,
yearn
yes.
for like this?
I'm a Christian. I don't remember
Yep.
if I said that already. So, my
I think you
belief
did.
is yeah. So my belief is that we're all formed in the image of God.
Yep.
I'm here to advocate for those who don't have a voice, which are innocent babies being slaughtered, Um they're my neighbors. I'm supposed to love thy neighbor. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm advocating for my neighbor who are getting killed for essentially no reason.
So how do you? I don't know. This is off topic, but like
Mhm.
inhumane ways of farming.
Mhm.
Do you feel a type of way for that too, or do you just feel a type
I
of way for?
I feel this way for human beings. So I don't
So
feel the same
not
way about animals, no.
not animals. Okay.
No, like let me rephrase. I care about humanely killing animals. I don't care
Okay.
I don't advocate for like the torture and like the
Okay.
mishandling of animals. I want it
Yeah.
to be done humanely.
Okay.
But, for humans, I care about humans being killed. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
I can also bring up this, like what percentage of abortions do you think are happening for, like what do you think the majority of abortions are?
I would
Like
call them birth control for sure.
like correct,
Yeah.
95.9% are elective abortions.
What is the other 5%? We'll call it.
So 0.4% is rape and incest. 0.3% is risk to the woman's life or major bodily functions.
Yeah.
2.2 is other physical health concerns. 1.2 is abnormality in the unborn baby. So if your baby's going to be like autistic or like have Down syndrome, those
Yes.
are like it's eugenics.
That is one of the main understandings I'll have, because that's not having a kid. That's having something that you're gonna have to babysit, like a person that you're gonna have to babysit for the
You're going to have to babysit your kid.
for the next duration of their life. Like that is not an easy task, and I can understand if you believe in a God, if you understand, like, if in Christianity, the babies that get aborted, they go straight to heaven, or where do they go?
Yeah, they go straight to heaven because they're without sin. They've not had a chance to sin.
So would you also not maybe say that that is doing the baby a favor, that they get to go to the heavenly land, that is where we all hope to go?
I,
If you give that baby a fast pass to there, is that not doing that baby a favor in a sense?
it's you could look
You're
at it
not.
both you could look at it both ways, but
Yeah.
I think it's more harmful to deprive them of their all their future experiences, from getting to experience life is, good and the bad,
Okay.
experiencing God before meeting God firsthand, experiencing all the joys of life.
Yeah.
I think it would be kind of cheap to just say, well, they're all going to heaven, so whatever.
So you believe in one life.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
So what is heaven for you?
What is
What is
heaven?
that what does that concept mean for you?
Heaven
You
to
die,
me,
you pass away, you go to heaven. Where do you go?
heaven to me would just be experiencing God in his fullness without the destruction of sin.
Okay.
That's kind of how I would put it.
Does that
Uh,
not terrify you?
no,
So
it
is
doesn't.
that going to be an internal something?
Eternal, yeah, forever, like
So
everlasting life. Yes.
does the concept of something being eternal not scare the living shit out of you?
No, what scared me before was thinking about dying without eternal life. But
Okay.
now that eternal life is here, now it doesn't scare me at all.
Okay.
Because God is good, God is just. He's the, perfect being, perfect objective morality, and it's a gift to experience God in his presence without the awfulness of sin in its fullness forever. That's a great feeling. And I can't, say firsthand what heaven is going to be like exactly. We get like ideas of it in the Bible, but
Yeah.
it's going to be good. That's for sure.
So this falls back to a point that I made before with like how women will go through a certain point of ovulation, and if the egg is not fertilized, it will get discreted out through the period. What happens to that potential life of an egg? Does it also go to heaven in the same sense, or like was it never a possibility? If it was
Before the conception happens,
before conception, yes.
we're getting into a little offbeat territory. I
Yeah,
would I would probably say no, since it's not a human life, just because it doesn't, meet the criteria of being a human organism. But
but if you have, say, you cut an orange and there's a seed in it, you
yeah,
look at the seed and you can see it. It's a physical thing, right?
yeah,
And you know if you plant it in the correct way, it'll become a sapling and grow into it. Whatever
yeah.
the process
Mhm.
is for an orange tree, it has the potential. But
Well, you're conflating two things. So the
I,
seed is
I,
just
I
one. The
yeah,
seed is just one thing, whereas sperm and egg, they both need to form together to meet that
yes,
criteria of human.
yeah,
So I would maybe just continue with this, like disregarding rape in Life of the Mother. Like I said, 95% of abortions are elective.
yeah.
So that's just birth control. That's just I don't want to have this baby. That's I don't have the financial ability for this.
Does birth control fall into that?
Yeah, that's like they use it as a form of birth control is what I mean.
Oh,
Like
okay,
like
yeah,
yeah, like birth control's all right because it's preventing the egg and sperm from meeting. Okay,
okay,
I just wanna quickly throw that
yeah,
in,
yeah.
but
Understood.
I'm saying they use it as a form of birth control.
Yeah.
So what would you say about those? Consensual sex, whatever. Like, why is that a justified reason to terminate another human life with its own unique DNA?
Um, I don't think it is.
We
I
agree.
I, I would say if you play with guns and you shoot someone, you follow the consequences of that. The same way if you play with your cock and you shoot it off and you have a kid, you're going to bear the consequences of that. Um, but
I
I don't.
agree. Oh,
I also it's usually has nothing to do with the male in this situation. The female is the one that gets the abortion.
mm-hmm. Well, I
Like
mean, it definitely can affect males too, though. You know.
absolutely, you can.
Yeah.
It's a psychological thing for them to battle with too.
Well, they're losing their kid. You know.
Yes, that's something I've thought about personally. Like, what if
Mm-hmm.
I have a girlfriend and we get pregnant and she doesn't want to keep the baby and I do? It's gonna.
Mm-hmm.
And there's stories about men, obviously, like
Yeah.
trying to
There are.
battle for their kid that the woman is trying to terminate. I
That's right.
understand. I understand all points of view on it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, as much as I'm not going to sleep with someone that I wouldn't want to have a kid with, I can also understand. Like, I understand just all points of view. If someone wants to have a terminated pregnancy, they should also have the right. It doesn't affect me, of course, but that doesn't agree with your beliefs.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, but I don't understand this idea that like you think they should be able to do it electively still because it's their choice. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes, but I also have the same belief as you, where in my case, I don't think I'm going to be in that situation. Like, I'm not going to sleep with someone that I don't want to have a kid with. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like everyone should have the choice, but I don't believe they should have the choice. Like, you know what I
So,
mean? It's
well,
a weird.
you think they should have the choice. You're saying the choice is bad, but you think they should still have the choice. But if it's bad and, you know, like a destructive thing, why should they have that choice? They shouldn't. I'm advocating that they should not have that choice.
Yeah,
And if you think they should, I know you're not like, you
I'm
know,
not pro for it, but I think everyone should just have the choice.
but why? You're going to have to give me an argument as to why.
As wrong as it's going to sound, it's not my problem. You know what I mean? It doesn't
Yeah.
affect me. It doesn't affect my, like, I still have to pay rent at the end. I still have to pay my bills.
Mm-hmm.
If someone has an abortion, it's not going to affect me
I get that.
unless it's in my four walls and it's my family. Because I think
And
when
that's,
you date back
well,
to the humans of the furthest point, like they
you got
work
to
on, you know what I mean?
you
It's
got to
their fault.
understand though, that's how people were justifiably able to do the most evil, atrocious stuff in, you know, all of time. Slavery wasn't my problem. It's not affecting me. The Holocaust, not my problem over here in America. It's not affecting me until, you know, Japan came over and messed with us, obviously. But you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like something doesn't have to directly affect you for you to say this is wrong and they should not be able to do this. They should not have the choice in doing this just
Okay.
because it's not affecting you. Let's use human trafficking. Does human trafficking directly affect you? Are you going to tell someone who's advocating against human trafficking, well, it's not really affecting me, so
I don't know. I've met people that have been human trafficked.
yeah,
It's a
but
lot more common than you would think.
I mean, I'm sure it is, but we're just saying
Absolutely.
we're just saying for this argument's sake, you've not been directly affected.
No, I
So
have.
the notion is, you know, like well, it's not affecting me, it doesn't affect me, so, you know, people should be able to human traffic, right?
Well,
It's analogous.
yeah.
If I was out here advocating that people ought not to be human trafficking and you said, well, it's just their choice and it's not affecting me, that's kind of what's going on here. It's analogous to abortion. I'm saying human beings are being killed, but they shouldn't be. And you're saying, well, at the end of the day, it doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
It's analogous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I've enjoyed this conversation.
Me too.
I'm gonna leave you with that. I think this is something that you should
I appreciate you. Yeah.
think about. Yeah. What was your name again?
Dylan, for sure. I'm gonna go to sleep now, but
I
I
yeah.
appreciate the conversation. I actually, you taught me something I didn't know. You know.
That's awesome. God bless you,
Yeah.
Dylan. You have a good night.
Have a great afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir.